Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
I'm here to save the day. I'm here to save the day.
Soon I will be invincible. Because comics.
Welcome to Because Comics. This is episode 78. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host, the evanescent Mike Christensen.
Wake me up inside.
Wake me up!
I can't wake up inside.
It's so funny, because, like, you know, it also has a definition, which is, like, fading away and things like that. But
yeah.
I knew immediately when I said this, you were going to be like, oh, yeah, that song from that Daredevil movie everyone dislikes.
Everyone but me.
That's right. So it ties back to comics in some way.
It does. We're going to loop back to comics much faster than we usually do.
All right.
Guys, every episode we talk about the comic books that we are reading. Sometimes they are promotional tie-ins to the 2003 Daredevil film. Most often they aren't.
Ah, right, correct.
Like 99 times out of 100.
Well, most
not.
of mine were, but then you asked me to stop talking about Daredevil.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
fair enough.
Just that comic specifically.
Yep.
So, Jay, what are you reading? What is on your poll list?
Batman. No, for
I
this...
mean, probably yes, but what else is on your poll list?
Right. For this episode, I wanted to talk about a new Image comic called Moonshine. It's written by Brian Azzarello and drawn and colored by Eduardo Risso. And it is a fantastic comic. Moonshine is a bit of, I guess I'd say, like a period supernatural comic is what I describe it as. And the supernatural is a bit of the, huh? Basically, this comic takes place in the early 1900s, or it's the late 1800s. I can't really remember. I believe they say it on one exact page. But basically, it's supposed to be, it's before Prohibition. But it's definitely when people are driving around in, you know, really old, like, Ford cars, wearing the zoot suits and, you know...
I feel like you're mixing some...
I'm mixing some periods?
Yeah. But
possibly.
Turn of the century,
Turn
I
of the
guess.
century, right?
Zoot suit is super duper wrong for that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Jay knows history very well. A new podcast. So essentially, we're following the named character. His name's like Mr. Perlow. I believe we get his name once. I believe it's like Nick Perlow. But essentially, he's kind of the go-to man for think of it like a mob boss in one of the bigger cities. And he's been sent down to the Appalachia Range, I believe, down to locate and basically acquire some moonshine for their alcohol business within the city. Because essentially the big boss himself, Joe, has, you know, observed this moonshine and has found it to be pretty amazing. It is like the best alcohol he's ever had, and he's sending his right-hand man, Perlow, down to acquire it, more like acquire the rights, like make a deal with the guy that owns the alcohol and say, hey, like, we want to ship this up to New York, we want to sell it, it's going to sell like hotcakes, you're going to make a lot of money, I'm going to make a lot of money, it's going to be a great deal, right?
So it's like the middle seasons of Breaking Bad.
Pretty much, yeah. So essentially, Joe sends him down, and our guy, our main man, is having a little bit of a difficulty finding them, because these people, if you ever have seen the show Justified, where it's a show about people in kind of the backwoods or in the South who essentially don't really want to follow the rules of the local state and kind of live under their own rules, essentially they don't like the city folk coming out and, you know, wanting to get meddled in their affairs. And more or less, a lot of people are after this moonshine, are after this alcohol, because it is really, really good. And we find out very early on in the comic that not everybody who's gone looking for this has come back alive. There might be something going on in the deep woods out here. So essentially, our main character makes contact with this group and this guy who has the alcohol, this amazing, amazing alcohol, and things don't go exactly as planned, and I'll kind of leave it at that. But so far, I'm very early on in the run. The writing is amazing. It's spot on. It does have a bit of a tinge of noir to it, where every beat and every scene has its own kind of tone. I feel like there should be like a solo saxophone playing in the background in some of these random scenes. And it's amazing. The art perfectly complements the writer's tone and style. And I mean, it's just wonderful. And I'm excited to see where it goes, because the supernatural pieces of this comic are slowly starting to unfold at like a really nice gradual pace. But otherwise, I would just read this just for a really amazing, really well-written period piece. But guys, I cannot recommend it enough. Moonshine, check it out. So Mike, what is your pull?
My poll is Southern Cross, which takes place in the future.
What?
It is also an Image comic. It's written by Becky Cloonan, art by Andy Belanger and Lee Loughridge, and it is set on a ship called the Southern Cross that is taking people from Earth to Titan, where there is a basically an oil refinery. And it seems like that is where the story's going, but the comic isn't called Titan, it's called Southern Cross. All of our action takes place on this ship. And at this point, I think there are 12 issues out. I've just read the first trade, which I believe is the first 6 or 7 issues. On this ship, our main character she's on her way to Titan to investigate the death of her sister. But while she's on this ship, a lot of intrigue begins to play out regarding, this is the ship that takes people to and from Earth and Titan, and people don't stay on Titan for the entire time they're working there, because otherwise their bones would dissolve or whatever. Like, the gravity's different.
Right.
So
okay.
people on this ship have met the main character's sister before. And there is some intrigue in regards to her death and other deaths that may be unrelated, but are still curious, either occurring on the ship or involving the company. I don't really want to say a lot about the intrigue other than to say it zigs when you think it's going to zag. It definitely doesn't take the route that you think it's going to. And it has a really nice claustrophobic feel. And by that I mean that it feels like you are confined to this ship. The art does a nice job of just sort of making it feel like the main character is being pressed in on all sides. Part of that is just the page layout. Part of that is the art and the way that that the main character is presented in all of these locations. And you have this just sort of creeping sense of unease, and from every person that she talks to, you're not entirely sure, like, is this a person that we should be trusting?
Is this a good person?
Because, like, it's not like they're super friendly, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're guilty of anything. But this person is, like, a little suspicious. I really like how it plays out as sort of a, not quite a noir. It doesn't quite have that feel, but there's definitely that sort of tension underneath of like a subliminal thriller kind of feeling to it. Really enjoying the series, and definitely think you guys should check it out. Again, it's called Southern Cross for Image. Another cool thing it does is have, like, on the first page, it has like a blueprint of the ship, but not like in the map, like, oh yeah, like here's where everything is, and like a very clean, easy to read. It literally looks like a top-down blueprint of the ship and of like the space station that they just came from. And in the second issue, there's like an ad for like the company that's like the mining company, and it's one of those ads like, you spoke, we listened, we're there for you, as like, like, we're proud to be part of your family, like, new safety records or whatever it is. And then there's an ad for like, I don't remember, candy or whatever, ice cream, I don't remember what it is, but there's some sort of like, there's just little ads of the world at the end of each book. At the end of each issue, which is a cool little like palate cleanser as you're leaving, like a very cliffhanger moment of like, what's going on? What is this weird thing? Hey, by the way, we have some new safety records.
We appreciate you buy your candy from Sal's. Sal's Space Candy.
Whatever it is, exactly. So I'm really liking it. It's got a nice level of world building that's not too intrusive, but very much gives the sense that there is a larger world underneath the surface.
Very cool. I like that a lot. Now I definitely want to read it.
Check it out. Southern Cross.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, those were our pulls, and that'll be taking us into our main segment. Mike, kick things off.
Jughead number 200. We are going back to Jughead number 200, which is a fairly recent issue. 2010, I believe, is when it came out. Oh, really? Yeah. And it is written by Tom Root of Robot Chicken. At this time, he had been a writer for Robot Chicken. He's advertised as such.
Oh, wow.
Pencils by Rex Lindsey and inks by Jim Amash. And this issue opens with everyone's leaving school, and they're wondering, what should we do today? And Veronica's like, look, let's not go to the chocolate shop again. Can we think of something better to do than go to the same diner that we always go to, where we always get the Pops shakes and we always get the burgers? And
she wants a little bit more flavor in life, Mike.
And Jughead says, I have an idea. Teach my grandmother to ride a motorcycle. Then we can enter in freestyle motocross competitions in the 80 and over category. We'll make millions in endorsements. And everyone just stares at him blankly. He says, or, we go to the chocolate shop. I'll go and get a head start. And Veronica's like, you better get a head start.
Wow. Jughead just pulled like quite a magical adventure out of the top of his head.
And then was like, no, we're not doing that.
That would have been amazing.
And he starts running. He's like, ooh, Veronica's kind of scary. And he turns the corner and he says, oh, I didn't know we had a diner on top of that hill. Come to think of it, I didn't know we had a hill. Anyway, yeah, I'll try new things, like Veronica says, like exercise as he climbs up the stairs into the diner up the hill.
So wait, this is just like a hill, like is it in the middle of the street? Is it on...
Yeah, the street like leads right up to it.
Interesting.
And there's a
this
diner
is one
with,
that
like,
he's never... Have we ever seen this
He
before?
has never seen this before.
Like, as readers, though, have we ever seen this place before?
I can assume that they know Riverdale better than we do, and we certainly have never seen it before.
Okay.
And he goes inside, and this sort of plump woman named Darlene comes in, plump blonde woman. He asks if there are any specials, and she says, oh, I bet we have a special you'll find hard to resist. And she pulls out a sandwich that is 5 or 6 layers of burgers.
Oh my god.
And and they're all cheeseburgers, and there's 2 large pizzas on either side.
What?
And on top there is a tiny little Ferris wheel with little cheeseburgers on it. Like a little amusement park on top of the sandwich.
Did she pull this out from like a giant suitcase that she had with her, or just from under the table?
It's not entirely clear, from behind the back counter somewhere.
I just had this over here.
And
is there anyone else in this diner, by the way?
No, it's empty otherwise.
Oh, okay. This doesn't feel weird at all.
And he says, I'll take one with everything. And she says, oh, I doubt it's in your price range. He says, oh, no, I'll pay any amount. And she says, it's not for sale, at least not for money.
Oh, boy. I was about to make a joke that she was going to say, for one human soul.
Well,
but I might not be far off.
Jughead says, do you want my immortal soul?
What?
And Darlene sees Jughead like just sitting at his kitchen counter, just like eating like turkey legs and pancakes and ice cream. And she thinks, yeesh, no, I want your most prized earthly possession, your metabolism.
Oh my god. That's right. That is Jughead's secret power.
Why, you don't even need it. You're so very thin and I'm chubby, pleasantly plump. My mistake. It's a very fair trade, so what's it going to be? Cut to the chocolate shop. He walks in and everyone's already waiting there. And Pop says, oh, the usual Jughead? No thanks, I'm not hungry. And Pop looks like Jughead just shot a dog. Pop then goes behind the counter, and while everyone has a conversation going, Jughead, like, you're not hungry? Pod person Jughead, your cover's blown already. And he says, oh, don't tell Pop, I just ate the best burger of my life at the diner on the hill. And they're like, I didn't know we had a diner. I didn't know we had a hill. Meanwhile, Pop is in the back writing in a book, and it says, Dear Diary, the beach house dream is dead.
So this guy's been feeding off of the revenue stream that is Jughead for years?
Yeah, Jughead Jones is his primary source of income. Not because people don't go to the diner or don't go to the chocolate shop, but because Jughead
they just don't order in the types of quantities that Jughead does.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So we're just glazing over the fact that he just made a deal with the devil, or some version of a devil?
Oh, don't worry. We'll come back to this.
Okay.
We see then Jughead over the course of the next month. His diet does not change. We do see him back at Pop's eating like a, sundae with 3 scoops and cherries and nuts and chocolate and stuff. We see him eating chips on the sofa. We see him, eating just a whole bunch of food and big tubs of popcorn at the movies. And we cut to school, and Betty and Veronica are like, you're his best friend, like, you have to tell him. And Veronica says, Betty is my best friend, and I can tell her anything, no matter how difficult. Yeah, vice versa. And Veronica says, you have the hairstyle of a 3rd grader. And Betty says, I kissed Archie at your birthday party. And then they both go, what? And like glare literal daggers, like little daggers appear between their eyes as they stare at each other. But here's the thing, like, Betty's is way worse, I feel.
Yeah, obviously. I feel like one is just a condescending remark about someone's hairstyle. The other one is quite literally betrayal.
It's like, maybe not with them specifically. It's always been like this weird, like, but well, no, it's at her birthday party. No, you're right. That's fair.
It's betrayal. Also, let's not excuse, just because they have a horribly toxic relationship with Archie, does not excuse the fact that it is not totally terrible.
It's a fair point. It's a very fair point.
Look, just because this is a normal toxic relationship doesn't mean.
That's decent. Yeah, it's a good point. And then Reggie Mantle, the rich jock, jerk.
Yep.
It's like, look, Archie, if you're not going to tell him, I'll totally tell him. I'll tell Jughead all I want. Like, there's so many words that rhyme with at. I can do it in rhyme.
I wonder what he's going to say.
And then we see Jughead, and he has easily gained 100 pounds.
Oh my God.
He looks like 2 Jugheads.
Side by side?
Yeah, more or less, or overlapping, certainly. Archie's like, oh, I don't know how to say it. And Reggie's like, here, I got it. Oh no, so many beautiful insults. I can't get them out. It's like a logjam in my brain. No, come back. I've waited a lifetime for this kind of opportunity. And they, Archie
I've trained for years
Archie
on pipsqueaks and wimps.
He really has. And Archie escorts him to the locker room and shows him a mirror and says, what do you see? Oh, the bear in that painting is wearing my hat. Jughead, that's a mirror. Open your eyes all the way, which is funny because Jughead's always got his eyes closed in that art, like in the way he's drawn. He's always has his eyes closed. And we see his eyes open. He's like, that's me. I thought my mom shrank my clothes in the wash. And he's like, no, like the way you eat. And he's like, the diner, the witch. What?
I'm sorry. We got to back up a second. What did you just say?
I traded my metabolism to a witch for a cheeseburger. Oh, really? Well, in that case, Nalakazam, eat a salad. I'm serious. Go there yourself. You'll see. Please, Archie, you've got to help me. And Archie storms into the diner.
I love that, like, what's so funny about that is these kids hang out with each other literally all day, every day.
Yeah.
And, like, how many new and interesting things do they have to say to each other? Like, hey, did you hear what Mrs. Whatever said in that one class? But except what never comes up is, yeah, guys, I ran into a witch up on that magic hill over there. Anyways, now I don't have my metabolism. Time to eat this burger. Like, that never came up in conversation.
Yeah, pretty much. So Archie storms in and demands Jughead's metabolism and says, I'm not taking no for an answer. And we see Darlene is now just a stone fox. Like, she is a smooth criminal.
She's got that magic metabolism.
Yes, and she says no. And Archie says, all right, cool with me. Because...
I'm not good at conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
I have 2 girls that I still can't decide a relationship on.
It's been 60 years. She says, well, his metabolism suits me. Don't you agree? So you didn't take it. Please, you have to sell it back to me. Eating is Jughead's whole life. It's not for sale, but I'll trade it to you for your most valuable possession. Do you want my soul? She's like, yeah, no. And we see Jughead like cheering at a football game that he's watching on TV, and he knocks over a vase because he's a big klutz. I don't know what this book seems to intuit souls to be. Is it just your personality?
I guess.
Anyway, she doesn't want any of that. She wants his pure heart. Cut to Pop's Chocolate Shop, where Jughead is just sort of sitting there with Betty and Veronica. And I guess has explained the situation. And Betty says, a metabolism isn't a thing. It's simply how fast your body burns calories. But he's not listening. He's looking at the shake, the sundae that Veronica's eating. And she says, being inconsiderate makes it taste better.
That's not very nice.
It's not very nice at all. And he says, Pop, 1 double burger, please, and hold the burger and the bun. He says, all right, 1 lettuce and mustard plate coming up.
Which I can't imagine is good at all for you.
Well, yeah, I guess not.
I'd like some lettuce with mustard on it, please.
And Archie comes in and he says, sure it will. Here you go. And he tosses this little gleaming ball to Jughead. And he's like, oh, my metabolism. How'd you do it, Arch? Oh, no big. I just traded my pure heart for it. And the best part is, no more pure heart, no more pure thoughts. And he grabs Betty and like dips her in for a kiss. And the next thing we see is he has been punched across the table by Veronica and his sneaker is on the ceiling fan.
Nice.
And they're like, oh no, without his pure heart, he's just another stupid boy. And to make our point clear, we cut outside where Reggie is hitting on someone. Because, he's just Reggie now. And they're like, oh, but on the other hand, Archie's heart is now available for purchase. Cut to Veronica and Betty heading into the diner on the hill. And they're like,
boy.
Give us that pure heart. I'll be happy to, but it will cost you. And they're like, our souls? She's like, no. What is it with you kids and your souls?
I don't want your dumb teenager souls. God.
I want your most valuable attributes. Betty, give up your compassion. Veronica, it will cost you your status. And Veronica says, but status is what makes me better than her. And compassion is, well, where would I be myself without it? I have a chance. This could be our only chance. Sure, yeah, we'll do it. And they leave.
So they equally share his heart?
They leave with this gleaming ball, and they say, wait a minute, so which one of us gets to keep it? Wait, are we supposed to share it? We're right back where we started. And they run to like the door, and they pound on the door, like, give it back, you stupid witch. But the doors don't open. And they sort of Charlie Brown walk home, like, we've been had. And Veronica trips and falls in a bush, and Betty laughs, and she's like, oh, Veronica's like, oh, without compassion, she's like Reggie in a blonde wig. And they're like, all right, well, Daddy knows how to fix this. And they go to the Lodge Manor, which is now a shanty town.
Oh, no.
It is a aluminum siding shack with a kiddie pool outside.
Nice.
And a car that's up on blocks with no tires. And Mr. Lodge is screaming, "We're ruined!"
Oh, so he like just woke up to this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I'm trying to wonder how that power works. It's not like it rewrites their history. He just wakes up and like, wait a second, what? No!
Pretty much.
Wow.
And Betty just starts...
So that witch is now just super rich?
Betty just starts laughing at this. You know, Mr. Lodge is like, what's gotten into Betty? Oh, witch stole her compassion. Oh, Daddy, this is all my fault. Like, wait, no, it's not. It's stupid Jughead's fault. And they charge in and they're like, you know, Jughead, you ruined our lives and you're not even thin yet. And Jughead turns around at the counter and says, this is just a toy ball with glow-in-the-dark paint on it. She tricked Archie. Like, she didn't give back my metabolism.
Oh, wow.
And they look at the one that they were given, the pure heart of Archie. It's just paper mache.
So she's literally just acquiring all of these attributes from everybody and giving them nothing in return.
Yep.
Oh, that's not cool.
No, not at all. And meanwhile, we see a girl, probably Cheryl Blossom, but someone's pouring a milkshake out on Archie's head, but he's still smiling that shit-eating grin. Betty is laughing at this, and Veronica's like, Jughead, this is your fault. You better fix it. Go fix it. And Jughead goes for a walk. He's not sure what to do. He goes to the Riverdale Farmers Market because he might as well start eating carrot sticks. And he sees someone that he recognizes. Hey, it's Sabrina, their friend who's totally normal.
Oh, that's right. They know a witch.
Yeah, but they don't know they know a witch.
Ah, right.
And Sabrina has to ask, Jughead, is that you? Oh, yeah, you haven't seen me in a while. I saw you last month. And Jughead looks...
This is horribly unhealthy.
Yeah, no, it's not good. This is like Christian Bale level, like,
wow.
or Tom Hanks. It's like, this is not... People shouldn't gain weight this fast.
Yeah.
And Jughead looks at the shop where, you know, the stand where Sabrina's shopping and says, ear of newt? Batwing tips? Man, organic food is weird. And Sabrina's like, yeah, so what's going on? And then we see that Jughead has told her the story and explained it. She says, fake diner on a hill, huh? Sounds like Darlene's favorite scam. He's like, how do you know about this? And she's like, well, this may come as a shock, but I have a secret. Whisper, 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 whisper. He says, you know what? Nothing blows my mind anymore.
It's just like, oh, yeah, okay.
Cut back to the diner where Darlene has these 3 gleaming balls, which represent Archie's pure heart, Betty's compassion, Veronica's status. She says, why would I give their possessions back when I can sell them on the witch's black market? That pure heart alone can be used to power 1,000 love spells, but I'll keep this metabolism for myself. And then Jughead comes in. Look, you won fair and square. You got my metabolism. But you owe me one thing, the recipe for that amazing cheeseburger. And she's like, well, I guess I do owe you. I mean, your metabolism's amazing. I ate a wedding cake for lunch.
Oh, my God.
Like, the whole thing. And she says...
Man, Riverdale is a resource-rich environment for all these witches.
The secret is feeding bacon to the cows before... Wait a minute. I know a diversion when I see one. And she turns around and the flying broom of Sabrina is picking up the other 3 balls. They all have a little necklace around them. Mm-hmm. So she's wearing the metabolism one. The other 3 are on a little chain or on a little loop that... the broom handle picks them up by, and as like Darlene runs to get them, Jughead grabs all 3 of them and just throws them onto Darlene's neck. So she's now wearing all 4. She says, I suddenly feel so compassionate and pure of heart. And what would a compassionate, pure-hearted person do? Give your stuff back.
Nice.
Sabrina says, wow, those are good qualities to have in a necklace. And Jughead says, they're even better qualities to have in your friends.
Aww.
And we see Veronica celebrating as she gets a phone call. Daddy says the mansion's back and everything. And Betty's so happy for her. Oh, Betty, what a compassionate thing to say. And Archie says, and I'm pretty sure my pure heart is. And the girls say, you're still on probation, mister.
You're still in trouble, you dick.
You are still in the doghouse. And Jughead is a little thinner because that's not how it works.
Because metabolism isn't magic.
Even when magic's involved.
Yeah.
And he says, I couldn't have done it without an old friend. So Archie says, so Darlene was no match for our best qualities. And Veronica says, wait, so my best quality helped too? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Totally did.
Your money.
Your status totally helped.
I would have liked to see like Jughead be like, compassion, pure heart, like putting these necklaces on her and then be like, there's one that just says status, like, yeah, maybe I'll just leave that one off.
Jughead, she returned our stuff, but what about yours? Oh, my metabolism's back, but I do still need to eat a balanced diet. And the coach comes over and says, and regular exercise, come on. And they start having to, run basically around the
track.
The track, I guess. And Archie's like, come on. And Betty's like, yeah, let's lend him some moral support. And Veronica's like, no, apparently the witch took your common sense, and just walks away. Jughead says, this is the price you pay for eating enchanted cheeseburgers. The coach says, Jughead, if you have the energy to hallucinate, you have the energy to run faster. And that's the end of the comic.
Jughead 200. That's awesome. That was a great story.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And that comic's been running for a very long time. So that's classic Jughead, because I know they recently rebooted.
Yeah, they recently rebooted him. So it isn't the same version who was relaunched by Chip Zdarsky. Although, to be fair, it's still very much the same version that was relaunched by Chip Zdarsky. Like, he's not doing the cutaways to his fantasies like they do in that book, but it's still... Jughead changed to the least.
Yeah, he's completely unaffected by going to a witch's diner and offering his soul. Then I like, though, that they said soul first, like they were considering that as an option. And it was like, well, I guess...
They always ask, like, in, like, this horrified, like, wait, do you want my soul? And the answer is always no. No, you're teenagers.
I want your dumb teenage soul.
You don't know. It's not in good shape.
You guys aren't good people yet. What would I do with this?
Yeah, that's our main segment.
Awesome. All right, guys. So that was our story, and an excellent one about Jughead and his eating habits. And guys, that'll take us to our game, Would You Rather? All right, this is our game, Would You Rather. This plays like regular Would You Rather, except we inject comics into it. So, Mike, would you rather see an Avengers musical or a Justice League musical?
Ooh, interesting.
And this could be, and I don't want to present this in just like a musical show, like a movie. Like, you're going to the movie theater, and you're just like, Beauty and the Beast that came out this year, or like Chicago in the past, Moulin Rouge, other musicals, Les Mis. Which one would you rather see? And let's use the cast that we currently have in the DC movies and the Avengers movies.
That changes
Does
things.
it change it?
I don't know. Maybe not.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, we have documented on this show how we feel about Batman versus Superman.
Not great.
And the DC
not
universe
great
as a whole.
feelings.
Now, those scenes, would they play better because they're over the top in darkness or crazy over-dramaticism in musical form?
Ooh. That's interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it sometimes is too much, but in a musical, that's kind of the deal. Like, when a scene or a moment becomes too much, they just break out into song. Would that Martha scene be better if they were singing about their moms?
I mean, yes. I feel like it objectively would.
Yeah, kind of,
if it was the overwrought, over-the-top musical, like...
I'd love to have a Batman working out montage musical number. I lift these weights.
Now, okay. And then you have the big dramatic finale as Superman.
And who wouldn't want to hear Doomsday sing? Whatever that guttural sound is like.
Still me on that one. But you could have his final moments be like a big dramatic musical moment.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
Superman's picking up that kryptonite spear. I guess spoilers for, Batman
Can't
versus
spoil
Superman.
something that's already bad.
So
that's my feeling.
That's my motto. But
feeling is it's not a spoiler if it's
you
garbage.
could have kind of like a Jean Valjean moment of him picking up the spear, knowing he's gonna potentially die, and be like, I'm gonna, of like, I'm gonna die for the world, but I gotta kill this evil space.
It almost
baby.
does play as a musical moment in the movie.
It does.
It's like you're cutting away. You have like the fight going on, and then Superman and Lois have this very sort of tender, overwrought, emotional scene, and he's just sort of plowing along with like, I'm gonna go do this thing no matter what she says, which very much could be done in a musical.
Oh yeah,
moment of like he's singing.
It could be like a duet, like her singing to him and him singing about what he has to do,
and it would be a refrain. Superman. Oh, that fixes the Everest scene.
There you go.
A lot. It fixes that move. Oh, oof. That's a word I wouldn't want to throw around.
Batman versus Superman as a musical would not be so bad.
No,
now,
hang on. It would be an improvement.
It'd be an improvement. Now let's parallel that to, if we're gonna think of like a movie that we're making a musical. I guess we'd have to kind of look at Age of Ultron, which is the most recent Avengers one,
or Civil War,
or we could even look at Civil War. Yeah,
Civil War is very much an Avengers movie, and also would super work as a musical.
It probably would. Yeah. you'd have like some really cool stuff. Like I'm thinking about like, because it is so much cool fight scenes, like very quick fight choreography. Could you do like a musical fight scene? That'd be
Hamilton,
rad.
basically, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be rad.
But you also have the emotion of these characters, and it's because they're very much
Captain America and Bucky.
yeah. I mean, it's
My
Captain America and
buddy.
Bucky, Captain America and Iron Man. You know, and
Yeah, you could have some good standoff like Aaron Burr, Alexander Hamilton between Tony Stark and Captain America.
yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Two rivaling ideals. That would be interesting.
Now,
To put a bit of a dent in that one, there was an attempted Spider-Man musical, and Spider-Man is unfortunately in Civil War.
I know.
And sometimes when you try to over-engineer the superhero-ness of a musical, it loses a bit of its punch. So
The other problem is the cast size.
the cast is huge.
You really, I mean, like the virtue of Batman and Superman is that it is a more limited cast.
It is a more limited cast, and you can focus on those characters.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. You know, I will say in its defense for Avengers, everybody loves cats, and that's a musical about a shit ton of cats.
But also, the reason Civil War works better than Batman vs. Superman as films is that you've spent time establishing the characters.
That's true. So you're saying we create some pre-musical musicals. That's creating a musical.
The musical universe.
The musical universe.
I mean, that's obviously the
of
next
Justice
step,
League
right,
and
Hollywood?
Marvel.
Why am I saying that out loud? I work in Hollywood. I'll
Yeah.
go make that the next step.
Just call somebody at your company, Mike. Tell them this is what we're doing
Can we
next.
get all the rights to like Sondheim's works and put them in one cohesive universe?
Oh my god, that would be
The
amazing.
Sondheim Cinematic Universe.
If people are sitting around just being like, well, you know, Hamilton's doing so well, let's just make this a franchise universe. And then you can have people online writing articles just being like, oh, you know, they really rushed into that Justice League musical while, you know, Avengers musical has been building for years.
Yeah.
Let's decide here, Mike. If we've got to put Civil War and Batman vs. Superman through the lens that is a musical, I really think
No, don't say it out
That
loud.
Batman
Though. Don't say it
versus
out loud.
Superman.
Though. Don't say it out loud.
is better suited for entertainment value than Civil War as a musical.
Don't want.
Do you really want to see the Vision song? I don't. Not really. I'm just a man, but am I really a man? Like, Hawkeye will have to have a scene or something. It's just not as good, unfortunately.
Black Panther.
He's great. But after, what? Half that musical, Act 1 is going to be introducing the characters through song. Ant-Man will have some funny lines. Yeah, Mike, we know it's true that in a musical world, the over-drama
I don't want it.
is just going to be better
I don't want it.
coming from Batman vs. Superman. Lex Luthor's acting styles will actually make sense now.
Why?
I'm glad I managed to turn this into some way for you to admit that Batman vs. Superman
No,
is
you
okay.
don't. You're a monster.
Wow, so I guess
So that was our episode
Sadly,
of Because Comics.
we have to decide that Batman vs. Superman might be the better option. It's okay,
The
Mike.
flashbacks work well.
They work a lot better now.
The dream sequence works.
There's a lot of dream sequences and ethereal stuff in musicals.
None of it makes sense, which is kind of fine.
Yeah. When it's in a musical, it works perfectly. Zack Snyder just
No,
wanted to
don't
make
you
a musical.
You.
Okay, well, guys, that was episode 78 of Because Comics. We'll be posting a new episode every other week. If you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts, head over to partialarc.com. Of course, you can email us any questions at becausecomics@gmail.com.
Did we actually answer the question? Because neither is that an Avengers movie nor a Justice League movie, but they also very much are.
I think they are.
Okay.
They kind of are. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr, all at Partial Arc. And be sure to check out more content from our comic boy wonder, Mike Christensen, at partialarc.com, where he writes articles every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks for listening, and remember...
3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky, 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
Man, the elves really got screwed in that deal. They only got 3?
Because comics.